everyone, welcome back to my personal library. My name is Madi Kay. This is my big chair, and today we're going to be talking about my TBR list for the month of February. Now, last month I did this really fun TBR challenge where I used this app called Spin the Wheel that chose TBR prompts for me, and then from those prompts I picked out the books that I wanted to read that were already on my TBR list, and it was super fun and I found it to be really motivating. It was like a cute little game, but it was kind of like a scavenger hunt of sorts. So I definitely want to do that again for the month of February. Today we're going to be choosing 14 books. And you might be wondering to yourself, why 14? It's kind of a random number. Well, because February is the month of love and Valentine's Day is on the 14th. So I feel like that would be a really good number to have for February. And if you are interested in getting the Spin the Wheel app, I'll leave the link for the app down in the comments below so you can create your own TBR list. I highly recommend it. It's super fun. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So let's see what our first category is going to be. I'm turning down the volume because it's rather loud on the app. So POC rep, I know I have a lot of books on my TBR shelves that fall under that category. So for those of you who are new, this entire bookshelf to my right, to your left, is full of books I have not read yet that are on my TBR list. So I'm going to go look through those now and see which book is written not only by a POC author, but also one that I want to read in the month of February. All right, that was a quick one. I have in my hands is a book called Magic Steeped in Poison, written by Judy Lin. I just want to draw your attention to this gorgeous cover. I think this is amazing. This was a recommendation from Reads with Cindy. If you guys are unfamiliar with her YouTube channel, definitely go check her out. She's amazing. She has really good taste in books, and she recommended this one, and I thought it sounded really amazing. I know it's fantasy. It's set in this like fantastical world, and I don't really know too much about this book, which sometimes is a good thing. I really like going into a blind because usually that way I'm more surprised. I like any fantasy book that I pick up for the most part, so I'm really excited to read this one. All right, so that's our first book that we picked for our TBR list for February so far. So let's go ahead and see what the Spin Wheel app has in store for us now. Okay, good. This is perfect for February because for those of you who don't know, February is Black History Month. And I feel like this is a perfect one. And I think it's very important, especially during this month, to give Black authors our support. I know I have a few books on my TBR list that fall into this category, so let's go see if we can find them. Apologies if you hear noise in the background. That's the garbage truck coming to pick up our trash, which is good. Just right now, it's poor timing. Okay, so let's see here. What do I have? Okay, so this book is Black Cake, written by Charmaine Wilkerson, and I believe a show or a movie based off this book and looked really cool. I don't know much about it, but I do know that the cover is gorgeous. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Most of the books that I pick up because of the covers, you got to appreciate the art on this one. I think it's amazing. So it's a Breeze with Jenna book club book. And I usually like the books that she has in her book club, but I will see what that one's about. I'm really excited to add this one to my TBR list for February. All right, on to the next category, for our third book for our list today. Let's see what we have. It'd be perfect if there was like a pink or red cover one for Valentine's Day, but we'll see. Oh, okay, fantasy. Oh, okay, I love fantasy. All right, so the book I picked out is Circe by Madeline Miller, and I learned that this is called a foiled cover, which makes sense. I don't know why I couldn't figure that out before. But this book is based off of Greek mythology. She does a lot of Greek mythology retelling. She wrote the book Song of Achilles, which is a book about Achilles and his friend / lover Patroclus as they fight in the Trojan War. And this one, I think it's about Circe. I don't know exactly who she is or what she does, but I'm really curious to read it. I've had this on my TBR list for a while now, but this does qualify as fantasy because Greek mythology. So this is supposed to be really good, and I'm really excited. Even though I've heard some mixed reviews about it, I am anxious to read it. So yeah. It's super exciting. Okay, on to the next one. Number 4. Let's see what we have here. Oh, yes. Okay. We got a pink cover just like I wanted. Perfect for Valentine's Day. All right. I have a lot of books with pink covers on them. So this is actually really perfect. Let me go find one. Okay. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay. So I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. And Magnolia Park's the book that I picked up. As you can see, it's pink on the spine here, but also has pink on the front cover when you're looking at her like cute little shoes and her skirt. So it's like perfect theme for Valentine's Day. It's also a romance between these two people on the cover, I'm assuming. I know it's a story between two friends and one of them is called BJ. But after teaching middle school for a couple years, I realized I'm starting to get like the humor of like a middle school child. And every time I see the name BJ, I'm just going to be thinking about certain things that are not appropriate to talk about in this video. But besides this linguistic faux pas, I've heard a lot of people really like this book. I don't usually like romance, and we'll see how I feel about it. I'll give it a try. You never know. You might be surprised. And I've read books I thought I would hate that I actually liked. And same thing goes for books I thought I'd like. I read them and I actually ended up hating them. So you never know. You might as well read them and find out for yourself. That's Life Lesson brought to you by your friendly neighborhood book vlogger, Madi Kay. You're welcome. Okay, so let's move on and see what the next category is. All right, enemies to lovers. I really don't like it. Do I have any? I don't think I have any on my TBR. No, I think that's it. It's a hockey romance. I don't think it's enemies to lovers. Okay, I don't think I have any books on my physical TBR that are enemies to lovers, but I think I do have some on my digital TBR. So let's take a look at that. I have a good one. Allie Hazelwood is usually an enemy to lovers author, and my goal for this year, just for funsies, is to read all of her books that she has out. And one of them is Not in Love. And that came out last year, I think. And I haven't really heard a lot of reviews about this book, which seems kind of strange because Allie Hazelwood's a really famous author. But I'm curious to see what it's about. It looks a little bit different than her usual books. So she's basically called a STEMinist romance author, meaning that she writes about women who are in fields of STEM, so like more science-based. And they fall in love with like some guy that they initially do not like, but they win them over in the end, and the girl is so small and the guy is so big. So yeah, we'll see if this one breaks that mold. I'm starting to get tired of that trope, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next category. Enemies to lovers is perfect for Valentine's Day too, so I'm not mad that I got that category. I just don't like that specific trope. Oh, everything is coming up Valentine's Day themed. Isn't that funny how that works? Okay, flowers. I'm gonna go find a book that has flowers on it. This is actually a really quick find. I picked out Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and this is another fantasy book. I don't really know what it's about. Once again, I pick up these books because they're recommended to me on booktube or book talk, and then I just add them to my shelves, and I just hope that I like them. We'll see how much we like this one. I usually do like YA books a lot because I feel like they're more palatable and they deal with very similar things like in adult fiction, and there's a lot less smut in these books, which is always a plus. So yeah, I can't wait for that. All right, let's move on to the next category. Press the spin button. All right, be funny if we got romance or something. Revenge story. It's not very romantic. All right, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna skip that one. Okay, so I'm gonna skip this one for now. I'm not gonna skip too many of these categories because then the game isn't as fun or as challenging. I feel like one skip per spin the wheel video is pretty good. Okay, let's see what this one is. Okay, audiobook. Okay, great. Well, I have a lot of audiobooks. Let's go see what I have in my audiobook library. I have a bunch of audiobooks lined up for this year. And maybe we can add a little bit of mystery into this one. So I don't know if it's last year or the year before, 2023, there was a book called How to Solve Your Own Murder. And that book looked really fun to me. I thought it was a really cool concept. I think the book is about this person who dies, obviously, and they come back and they try to solve their own murder. The title kind of gives away the premise, but it sounds really cool. I love murder mysteries and thrillers. They're my favorite category besides literary fiction or nonfiction. You never really go wrong with a good mystery thriller, and I'm definitely going to add this one to my list, How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. All right, guys, so good news. We're about halfway done with the list. For those of you who stuck around until this point, you guys are amazing. I appreciate you guys so much. And if you make it to the end of the video, make sure to put a heart with an arrow going through it to symbolize love and Valentine's Day. And let me know what books you're excited to read in February and if any of these books are on your TBR list. All right, moving on to the next one. We have, contemporary. So contemporary usually means a more modern book written in present time, and usually that is attributed to romance books. So let me go find a contemporary romance book in the spirit of Valentine's Day that I can add to my... So I don't know if this is allowed with this challenge, but I found two books I think are perfect for this category. They're both contemporary, romancy, and also I just really like these covers. They are really Valentine's Day themed, really fun. They're both like decked out in pink and red. And I don't know, I think it'd be kind of interesting to do two books in the same TBR category. So I'm adding those to the list. And even though this isn't traditionally how I do this, I think it'd be kind of fun to kind of mix it up. Okay, so this probably means since we have two books for one category, we're going to probably extrapolate or take out one category that I just don't like. That way I give myself a little more leeway. But I know this is probably not how you're supposed to play this game, but who cares? This is my video. We can make our own rules anytime. So you know what? We're just having fun. That's all that matters. All right, pressing the spin wheel again. Let's see what we're going to get. All right. Let's hope for another Valentine's Day themed category. Marriage of Convenience. I don't like those. I'm gonna skip that. Okay, we're spinning. Intimidating book. Okay. What does that mean? Is it like intimidating because of the content, the size, or the author? Okay, interesting. Keeping with the theme of red and pink, I'm going to pick Red Rising by Pierce Brown. And the reason why I find this to be intimidating is because I've heard so many good things about this one. And, you know, when a book has so many positive ratings or reviews that you've heard, and it kind of becomes intimidating because you think it's like, oh, this huge juggernaut of a book, like it's untouchable, and you're scared that if you don't like it, that other people are going to be mad at you. We don't have a sci-fi book on our TBR list yet, so I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. All right, so up next, we have... Asian author. Okay, that one's not so bad. I definitely have a handful of books that fit this category, so I'm gonna go quickly look through them, decide which one I want, and I'll be back in just a minute. So my choice is another book that I would also qualify as intimidating, and this is going to be Ember and Ashes by Sabat Tahir. And I've heard so many good things about this book. Almost every booktuber I've ever watched has recommended this one to me. I heard this book is like the blueprint for fantasy books everywhere, so I'm really interested to read this one because I really like writing fantasy, and I would love to be inspired. So yeah, Ember and Ashes, super excited for it. All right, adding it to the pile. Next up, let's see what we have here. Let's see if there's any more February themed categories coming up. All right, spinning, 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 spinning. My shortest book on TBR. Okay, let's see if I can find my shortest book on my TBR real quick. All right, I'm going to cheat again. Sorry, you guys. I know this is kind of different than how this game is supposed to be played, but I'm actually going to choose the two shortest books on my TBR list, and that's going to be The White Album by Joan Didion and The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Now, this book, fun fact, I actually learned about it in the movie Ingrid Goes West with Elizabeth Olsen and Aubrey Plaza. And she mentioned this as one of her favorite books. And my curiosity was piqued when I saw this book because I thought it looked kind of like simple and interesting. And I read the blurb about it. And I thought it was actually pretty cool because it's about Joan Didion and her life experiences. So I feel like this is a perfect book to read in the shortest month of the year. And now we have what I consider to be the complete opposite of romantic book, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. And for those of you who don't know, this is a book about a dystopian world in which the women in America are essentially used as just broodmares. Their only purpose in life is to make babies for the rich and elite. And I think it's very relevant to what's happening in our country right now, especially with the Roe v. Wade overturn that happened 2 years ago. It's a very scary world we live in, and this book just became even more relevant. Even though I know it's going to put me in a really bad mood, I feel like it's really important for me to read. Because sci-fi books like this are very interesting to read because they really do apply to the world that we live in today, kind of like Fahrenheit 451, Animal Farm, 1984, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I feel like this book is much more of a prophecy than it is a sci-fi book, but I'm still interested to read it and to watch the show. So yeah, I guess I'll give this one a try. Adding it to the pile. Okay, let me just double check and count to make sure that we're on the right tracks. All right, let's do one more real quick. And spin. Sorry, the spin the wheel app is kind of glitching here. Oh, okay. We used to live here. Who is it by? By Marcus Kluwer. And this one is, I believe, another mystery thriller that was supposed to have a movie come out, but I'm not sure if that's still in the works yet or anything. I've heard really good things about it. It came out last year, I believe, and it's this author's first novel. It's based off of like Get Out and Parasite, and those are two movies I've seen that I really enjoyed. So I don't really get to read a lot of horror here. Oh, I guess it's supposed to be starring Blake Lively. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to read it anyway because I'm just curious. So that seems like a really good book. I really do like the cover. I don't read a lot of horror. It's not exactly the most romantic thing, but it looks interesting, and I think it'll be another good addition to my TBR list for this year. All right, everyone, you made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to include a heart with an arrow going through it to let me know that you made it all the way through this video. And please let me know any books that you're reading in February. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below. Happy early Valentine's Day. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day.